world of agriculture is a wide and varied one that is full of new and fascinating features which are necessary to keep the sector alive and growing. Stay with us as we dig into cultivation and learn more about innovations in the industry. This is Agrobeat. The farmers at Newcastle in St. John can now smile all the way to the market. I bet you are wondering why. Let us take a look and see just what has been energizing the district. Come on. A brand new irrigation system is now boosting production on 150 acres being cultivated by 23 farmers here at Newcastle in St. John. The water catchment was established by the Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation, BADMC, with a flow rate based on an average consumption of 2.5 cubic meters per acre per day.
It began initially with the farmers coming together as a community, and they worked with the Soil Conservation Unit to actually build this catchment. BADMC took on the project in 2004. From then we made further developments into the irrigation system. And those developments would be things like lining the catchment, creating an impermeable barrier because it's just made out of gabion baskets at first. And after that, after you line it, it keeps a lot more water, it keeps it a lot longer. In working with the farmers, understanding what they need, BADMC, the engineering unit, put together proposals to the ADF fund, and we realized that it fell in line with their criteria. And in putting that together, we were able to gather the funds and were successful in getting funds for this project among a few other irrigation projects and networks in districts.
For the farmers, the storage of water is welcome.
The need really arises when we have a large farming district in the area, and they will always need water once there's agriculture. And so when the farmers, once again, they come together as a community, Scotland District Farmers Inc., and they made proposals to government and they talked to us, and working with them, we know what the farmers wanted. And from that, we knew that they needed water in this area because in the dry season it gets dry, and in the wet season it's very wet. So the storage helps them to keep the water and be able to irrigate their lands as they need it. The farmers can come here and set up their own pumps, and when they set up their pumps, they can deliver it to the farm. We have an example which we could show you on Janice Mears' farm, and she uses the catchment frequently amongst a few others.
A farm like this, which spans over 13 acres, is a lot of land to irrigate. It is no wonder then that this Newcastle farmer of 24 years is thrilled about the new irrigation district.
Since that started, we start pumping more often, like every day. You pump, unless you're getting rain, then you won't have to pump as often. But you pump nearly every day. Because right now, there's no water in the pipes. Because after like crop season, you don't get any water out here too often. It'll be very dry. Regularly you come out here, you turn on the pipe and you can't get a drop of water. Whenever I call the waterworks, they always say maybe because of where I'm situated, but I'm not sure. So now I have water that I could use for the plants and help wash down things every day. Before that, I just would come out here and get frustrated because you can get no water to do what you want to do. Then you can plant certain things at a certain time because you know you ain't getting no water. Right, you had to more depend on the rain.
Farmers' bugbear is water. And many days in St. John we used to be without water, even the service water. So for what the project that brought the water did is like a prayer that was answered. And now that we have it here, I think we can do a lot more work, produce a lot more food.
Specifically, this catchment area comes from the Bend Spring. It's an overflow from the Bend Spring, which BWA has is working on, and the overflow is what we decided to catch for the farmers. It was so the area, the farmers were chosen basically by the site location because there was an opportunity to gather the water right here. So they decided to build a catchment here, and for that reason, we have the farmers over on this side being able to connect to the pond and closer to the catchment area. So it's more of a depending on location. Because of the availability of the water resources, seeing as they had the overflow here, it was ideal to catch the water from this area. So that's how it wasn't a selection of farmers, it was more of a opportunity for us to build something and improve on it and get to the farmers that need it on the western side. So we have other farmers on the eastern side which we are working for and trying to develop solutions for also, similar solutions involving springs and also involving rainwater harvesting.
Rainwater harvesting is a viable option for the irrigation district.
Rainwater harvesting works very simple. We're simply catching the water and runoff from any rainfall event that occurs. So in this area, we have a high amount of rainfall in St. John. So there's a lot of opportunity to gather that water and be able to build another catchment like this one. And also, we would like smaller installations for each farm so that they would have their own small little personal rainwater harvesting use. So any roof area or any sloping area that they would have, they could use to catch the water which they need as the rainfall events occur. It'll benefit the farmers in a large way because having own personal storage would be very beneficial in times of dry seasons, and even if to use to mix fertilizers and use for their crops and their own use. And it's really catching the water in the most natural way and the simplest way possible. So it would be a very big benefit.
Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation has even more in store for the future by way of new technological developments.
We also have remote monitoring of the meters where our personnel would be able to enter a district and be able to access the information from the meters that we provide to the farmers, and simply by reading an instrument, and the data automatically downloads into a memory card. So we have a lot of ambitious projects, and we hope to move forward very soon and rapidly with them. And we plan to keep on top of all the technological advantages that are out there and bring them to Barbados.
Agrofest was even bigger and better this time around than in previous years. Barbados' largest exhibition featured over 300 exhibits, including plants, animals, entertainment, and almost any organic product available.
In 2012, we tested the waters on Weymouth Bay and used a part of Weymouth Bay as an exhibition location. 2013, we used that entire location as a children's play area with all the fun rides and everything child related, and the vendors who would cater to the children in terms of like toys, blow-up toys, that sort of thing. So Agrofest 2013 was bigger in several areas.
The exhibitors at Agrofest displayed high levels of quality and innovation.
Their exhibits, they were new, they were different, they were exciting, and they attracted people. We also had some farmers who did like organic setups and conscious kind of farming, where we had a holistic approach to the whole thing. And those exhibits, I would think, they were new and they were interesting, dynamic, and attractions.
The new Mobby milk created quite a stir at Agrofest and was a big attraction for patrons. We spoke to the man behind the milk.
East Point Dairies is actually a new company that is formed to market these products. The whole basis for our getting involved in milk processing comes out of the crisis with the farmers right now with Buy Here Dairy. And we decided decided to get involved. We have my company, Simon's Foods Limited, has the capacity to pasteurize and homogenize the milk. And so we're working with the farmers, taking the milk from them, processing, and then East Point Dairies will be responsible for promoting the product, introducing it to the marketplace. We are working on just two right now. We have full cream milk, which is just the farmer's milk, nothing added, nothing taken away, and we process that. And we're also introducing a Mobby milk, which is a new creative product where we are blending two totally indigenous things. Farmer's milk and Mobby, which is a very common flavor. And we've had very good response to the product so far.
I heard lots of people speaking about it, so I can say that it had its own interest. It had interest because I heard people say, you tasted the Mobby milk, you heard, but I didn't get to try it myself. So if this farmer hears this broadcast, he needs to understand that Sanjay needs to taste his product.
A group of keen science students decided to get together and create green solutions to agricultural problems. The inspiration came from AgriFest last year, and they thought it fitting to display their very own exhibits at this year's exhibition. The integrated science class of the St. George Secondary School has found that learning science can be fun. Under the instruction of their science teacher, these students successfully built a livestock ventilation fan, a greenhouse, a still for distilling fresh water from seawater, a box oven, a turbine, and photovoltaic security lighting, all from solar and wind power.
If you're out to sea and you're fishing, say like you hit a reef or a rock or anything, and you don't have no water or food, and you're surrounded by seawater, you can actually find how to get water. So specifically, you need a black basin, a see-through plastic bag, and something to tie off, and a piece of weight. So you will put the seawater around the edge of the basin. Take a pot or any small little cup and put it in the middle. Then the plastic bag will come over top and you will tie off. And the weight comes on top. So then now the sun condenses the seawater to the top of the plastic bag. So you can start to see, you can't actually see through the plastic bag, you can see mist of water. So the weight now can pull down the water into drips and it will drip in the container. But you could get 2-3 cups. After all the process that we just went through, we get fresh water.
Small budgets and limited resources make for creativity. So we were able to make projects out of, like, our solar cooker was made from an old drawer, piece of plywood, and a cupboard door with a glass pane cupboard door.
This is the solar panel. The solar panel changes sunlight into electricity, and it goes to the charge controller, which controls how much volts of electricity goes into the batteries. The batteries charge up and store the electricity, and then it goes to the inverter. The inverter changes the DC current from the solar panels and the batteries to AC current.
We looked at some of the common agricultural problems and we thought about it, and one common agricultural problem you would experience, especially in chicken farming, is heat stress in animals. In the daytime in the tropics, the temperatures within livestock pens can get very high, and some animals become stressed out, and especially chicken pens, and it can lead to stressed animals, and you can even lose some of your animals. So we looked at using alternative energy to power ventilation fans for our chicken pens. So we decided that we looked for a suitable motor. We found a small permanent magnet DC motor, which runs on direct current, the same type of magnet current that's produced by solar panels. So then we looked for a source of solar panels, and we were loaned some from the University of West Indies, and 2 were donated to the school from Mr. Husbands at Solar Dynamics, right? So, and it was just a simple matter to use old farm blades from our electrical installations department. We get old household appliances, and they will pick them apart and see how they look. So we collected a used farm blade, and we had one of the students construct a mount for the system, and then we attached the farm blade to the DC motor, attach the DC motor to the solar panel, and you have a system for cooling your livestock pen. Our wind turbine will be almost completely recycled metal water pipe, recycled PVC pipe for the blades, recycled DC motors from treadmills. So almost the whole system would be from recycled material and materials that were donated to the school, but it can still be used usefully and actually produce the electrical needs we would need to power maybe a security light for our greenhouse.
Mr. Proverbs shared his feelings about the work of his students.
Actually, I think the students are more capable than our education system typically allows them to demonstrate. Sometimes when we're in class and we're doing a lot of theory, sometimes it's hard for them to grasp concepts which they might think are abstract. But when we're doing practical work and we build things practically, you can see, okay, if I turn this, it lights up. If I plug in this works. If I put this in the sun, it can generate electricity here, and the more sun it gets, the faster it works, the less sun, the slower it works. They can relate to that and they understand it, and when they're involved in putting it together, so when I put these together, when they shock me, they learn very quickly when not to cross wires, positive and negative, how systems work, and that there's electricity flows, and if you're not careful, it can flow into you and things like that. So they learn very well through practical, and through practical, the theory starts to make more sense.
Patrons of next year's AgroFest can look forward to yet another interesting exhibit from the students of the St. George Secondary School.
I would hope for AgroFest 2014 that we will be able to come bigger and better. And we will want to feature more in our agricultural produce. We want to have marketable livestock, because we're going to a livestock production program where we're going to be producing sheep at the school. And we want to be able to have lambs available for show and sale. We want to have some crops available for sale, food crops and herbs, and also some crop products, maybe some dried herbs, and some ornamental plants we also want to have available for sale by next year, if all things go well.
Have you ever wondered how difficult it may be for farmers, especially those just starting out, to come up with finances for equipment such as tractors, particularly with current market prices? Well, the Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation has the answer. Recent statistics and feedback from enumerators conducting the Ministry of Agriculture, Food, Fisheries and Water Resource Management's monthly crop production survey have shown a decrease in production within several farming communities throughout the island. Since the availability of tractor cultivation services has been a major issue for farmers, the Barbados Agricultural Development and Marketing Corporation has addressed this problem with the implementation of free tractor cultivation services. These offer a range of operations aimed at improving and increasing agricultural production in those affected areas, thereby contributing positively to the socio-economic environment.
Our tractor ended up costing about $70,000, and there are three basic implements that the farmer would need on the farm, which is a plow, a rotavator, and a furrow. And each piece of equipment could cost as much as $10,000. So you're looking at about $100,000 up front. And most farmers, if not the majority of farmers, don't have that upfront capital. We are currently offering harrowing services, rotavating, plowing, furrowing, swiping, and shortly we'll be introducing backhoe services to clear lands of bush and weeds and whatnot to bring them back into production.
I became aware of the BADMC's tractor program completely by accident while on a visit to town from an employee at the BADMC. It was extremely easy. The person provided me with the telephone number. I called, and while I was speaking with the person on the phone, they explained the process to me, and I went from there. Over the course of the applying for the service, I was waiting on some person else to actually plow the ground. So I was waiting on the person to plow the ground before the BADMC came to rotivate it. So as soon as the person was finished, I called them, and they came almost immediately.
The tractor cultivation service has definitely made life easier for farmers like Denzel. In addition to saving money, it also saves time and labor.
The program saved me from the headache of not knowing when some person would be available to do the ground and stuff like that. The communication between the tractor services program and me was excellent. The guy kept calling to find out if the person who was plowing it had came and done it so he could come and do it. So in terms of taking the worry and the unpredictability out of the situation, it was excellent. Immediately you could see the benefits from having the ground cultivated, because it's easier to put things into production as opposed to not having the ground cultivated and just lying barren.
We are planning to introduce subsoiling, molding, and seed planting. But let me say that the BADMC is not competing with the farmers, but rather we are complementing the services that are being offered.
Accessing the BADMC's tractor service program is actually as easy as it sounds.
The farmer will call the office requesting the services, and he will speak to the clerk, that's Ms. Kellyanne Berger, or myself. And he will leave his information, his contact information, telephone number, his name, and the address, the location of the land. And we will in turn send a field officer to go and inspect the land, making sure that everything is okay and ready for cultivation, because you don't want any foreign objects to damage the equipment. After that, we will send the tractor operator, as here so now, he will cultivate the land, and after he has finished, the field inspector will go back to the farmer's field to inspect the land again to make sure it is completely satisfactory to both parties, that is the farmer and the BADMC.
We hope to have sparked your interest in agriculture, and who knows, you may even consider starting a kitchen garden. Until next time, happy growing and enjoy the fruits of your labor.